Hey, everybody. Welcome to Self-Publishing Podcast. Today's guest is going to be Riley Ford, and we're going to be talking about sort of lateral, outside of the box thinking. It's a discoverability lesson, but also just sort of I hate to use the cliche of thinking outside the box, but that's really what it is.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because I've really been rebelling against that phrase lately. And anytime you need to use it, like it just needs to go. Like if a character says it, it needs to go. If copy says it, it's wrong. But how
I
better do you
disagree
say
because
that?
it's clear. It's like,
Yeah, but
would a
it's so
character stop and
tired.
think, I know it is, but would a character who's actually saying something in dialogue stop and go, well, that's really cliche? Or would they just say it because that's
Well, no, and you're right. In the right circumstance, if it's dialogue, it's different because if it's narrative, it has to go. Dialogue, it's believable.
And if they're an unaware douchebag, then yeah, they say it a lot. They pepper in outside the box.
Well, it also depends if it's like jargony. Like you could have somebody saying, we need to be more out of the box. We need, but
We need to have synergy.
right. We need synergy. Yeah, exactly. But I like the term lateral thought a lot because that's it. It's you're not quite here, so just think over there a little bit. Same thing.
all right. So something cool.
I'm curious on Dave because he literally had
Nothing.
nothing last time, and we're doing
You
episodes
should just
back to
stop
back.
at I'm curious on Dave.
I'm gonna go with another repeat here, but
A butt? Whose butt?
my butt.
Your butt?
Digital publishing. Dave's going with a repeat. I love this ability to publish your own books without gatekeepers.
Yeah, amazing. No, I talked about it when the movie came out, A Monster Calls. Well, now it's out on home video. You can rent it.
You
and
double dipper. Fine, next week's La La Land for me.
So what? Okay, so definitely check it out. Rent it, buy it. It's a beautiful movie. I absolutely love this story. I mean, it's got a kid whose mother's dying. What better heartwarming story can you want for? So it's awesome. Check it out. It's just beautifully made. I bought the book, the collector's edition of the book. It has like a lot of behind the scenes stuff in the movie. I loved it.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Well, now you can.
So mine is mine is actually a repeat also, but
You
You
fuckers.
suck.
yeah, it was a year ago, so there has been time in between then and now. I'm not double dipping for the DVD release of something. But last year I recommended the Judd Apatow comedy on Netflix, Love, and season 2 is out right now, and I'm about halfway through, and I'm liking it a lot more than season 1. And season 1, my biggest problem was that I didn't like either of these people, which is a new trend in television apparently. But I don't.
I think that was spearheaded by Aziz Ansari, by the way.
I don't
trust that guy.
I do not trust that guy. Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't like the characters, but I really appreciated the writing and wanted to see where it went. And now in season 2, I really appreciate what they did with the characters because I believe their relationship now. And I'm just really enjoying seeing where it's going. And I like the writing and I like what it's trying to say. And so anyway, Love on Netflix. It's Judd Apatow. I think it's the first TV he's done since Freaks and Geeks, maybe, or no, I guess Undeclared. But anyway, I'm enjoying it.
I know I've mentioned on writing about 100 times, but my bookstore just restocked them. So I'm going to use that as my something cool. They got 5 new copies and it's great. No, that's not serious. That's not my serious. No, I do. There's a Barnes and Noble near us, and we go to it. That's actually not my something cool. Mine is this is one of those personal ones that it's right up there with Sean's vegetable pasta had recently. But we got a guys' weekend, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm the only one who cares about this, but it's just me and Austin. The girls are going to a Girl Scout camp out, so that'll be interesting. Like me and my 12-year-old son hanging out, watching movies, and doing guy stuff. So there you go.
Yeah, Heather says in the chat, girls is like that for me. Interesting storytelling, but I hate the characters. Yeah.
I've heard that from literally everybody who's ever seen Girls.
Well, it's true.
Nobody has ever said I like any of those characters.
They're horrible people. Like,
And if you do meet someone that says, "Oh, they're just like me," run far, run far, fast.
Yes, if you meet somebody who likes the people in Girls, they should not be in your friend group. Immediately eject them. Yeah, but Marnie from Girls is excellent in Get Out. Like I watched the movie halfway through before I realized that was her because she was so different.
Yes. So there you go. Characters that are loathable, but you will want to watch them anyway. So
Well,
are they loathable in the same way as like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Those are terrible people too.
No, because that's done with you know that they're caricatures. Where in Girls they're not caricatures, they're real people. It's more like what we try to do when like we get a lot of 1-star reviews for our Invasion that basically say I fucking hate this guy. And so I understand.
But some people hate Meyer and some people don't hate Meyer. I've never heard anybody say they don't loathe the people in Girls, and all of them.
Well, that's true. Well, they're terrible people, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide why I would ever want to watch that show. It sounds like I never want to touch it.
Give one episode a chance. The one I've told you about.
It sounds like you have to work up to that one.
You kind of do. It's the most appalling thing I've ever seen. All right. Anyway.
So do you wanna take the lead? Riley is here. She is.
Well, she's incognito.
She's incognito.
This reminds me of our first calls with Lexi. And Riley wanted to be incognito, and she said, "Hey, can I come in and be a mystery guest?" And we said, "Yeah, that's awesome. People love mystery." So can you hear us, Riley?
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can perfectly. Yeah. So so you guys can't see her now. We know what she looks like because we've actually met Riley.
She is a 450-pound guy, 6'9" guy, sitting over a desk eating hot dogs.
4 teeth, 1 trucker cap.
Yes.
I was actually going to post a picture of the Elephant Man as my avatar. So, that might have.
That's kind of mean. That's personal. Like he's a real person.
My God, Riley, you're a monster.
Well, Riley's a horrible person. Maybe we should rethink this.
Oh no! Well, what is my avatar? Is it just blank or what is it?
It says guest.
You say guest.
Holding up that card that says guest the entire time.
Oh really? I actually did upload an avatar, so I'm surprised it's not showing. But oh well.
Well, Zoom is finicky. But
I hope it's not the Elephant Man.
Yes. So we've known
O.J.
Riley.
Simpson.
We've known Riley for O.J. Simpson.
What?
That's
When's the
random.
last time anyone said anything about O.J. Simpson?
Do you remember the time that Dave said, "Am I the only one who is?" And I forget what it was, but it was something we were like, "What? Yes."
So random. OJ
I
is
remember
very
what
random.
it was too, but I won't go there.
Yeah.
I'll save it for worst show ever. Dave's best non sequiturs.
Oh, we should do. I'm sorry, we need to get to Riley, but we should do a top 10 Dave non sequiturs at some point.
Oh, I would love that. That would be hot. So Riley. So at the Stone Table, Riley's part of the Stone Table, and we have something called hot seats, where we basically someone brings a problem, or not even a problem, but something they want the whole room to kind of work on together, and we all brainstorm it. And Riley's, it would crack me up because it was, I want to take on BookBub, which is just kind of an absurd assertion, for anybody to make. And so it was like, yeah, I can't wait to hear this. Like, what?
Right after she takes on Amazon.
No, BookBub first, then Amazon. And I'm just thinking, like, how is this possibly going to happen? And then she showed us. And I mean, still taking on BookBub is definitely a lofty goal, but she actually showed us a framework that allowed us to all see how she could do it. So Riley, do you want to talk about that framework, what it actually is, how you came up with the idea? We could talk about some of the horror stories from how you got all the way from A to Z, but just in essence, what is it? And
Sure.
And where did you come up with the idea originally?
Okay, so the site that I developed, it's called Free Books for Free. So it's www.
Okay, wait, I have to stop you right there. This is actually later in my show notes. Right? I really want to talk about this because that shit is genius. So for those of you who don't know,
They're free books, but they're free?
Okay, so those of you who don't know how search engine optimization works, people type in the stupidest things, like really stupid things.
I like when people Google for Google.
Right, which is actually something that happens like millions of times a day, right? So free books for free sounds like a ridiculous name for a site, but it's just very intentional because that's the exact search phrase. And how many searches a month are there for that?
5 million with that exact, 5 million a month for free books for free.
So all you literally have to do is build the site and you'll get the traffic as long as you have content on that site. So that's kind of genius. So anyway, that wasn't enough for Riley. She built it out further. So please, come on.
Well, it was when I was first looking for names, my original idea is I wanted a site that would promote free books, because on Amazon and other sites, it's impossible to search easily for free books unless you know the name or the author. But when you go onto Amazon, you just want to browse for books. It's fun. You can browse, you can look at different authors, different genres, and it's pretty easy to find things. Free books, no. So I thought, well, what if we had a site that was similar to Amazon, but it was all just free books, and you could search by category, by author, or you could just browse to your heart's content. So I was thinking about this also with the idea that I wanted to promo my own books on the site. So I spent a good week looking up different names.
Wait, don't gloss over that, because that's super important. Okay, would you have wanted to build this if you weren't able to kind of anchor your own books as because the genius.
Imagine BookBub was created by authors.
Right.
Oh, guess who's going to be getting all the deals, bitches?
Right. So that is the lateral genius here, is that yes, I can create something that makes discoverability easy for all authors. But wink, wink, there's one author who gets all the discoverability. You make sure that if somebody is searching for your genre, you're going to show up, right?
First, absolutely. Because I was like, how am I going to stand out? I had the free book loss leader, and I stood out that way in the early days when I first started publishing in 2012. But of course, as we know, Amazon, all these other sites are glutted now with new indie authors. And so I thought, well, how am I going to continue to stand out from the pack? It's getting harder and harder and harder. So of course, in a very self-centered way, I started looking for something that would promote my own books. And so I started looking up different domain names, and I kept putting them into GoDaddy. Everything was taken. Freebooks.com was taken. Everything was taken. And then I found the free books for free, and my mind was blown because it had 5 million a month people searching for that. And I put it into GoDaddy, and when I saw that it was available, I felt like I just struck gold. Not that I necessarily, I'm not, I'm hoping it's going to, be great, but, we're going to give it our best shot. But
it's not like you put any effort into it, right? You just totally slapped up some shit. Right?
Yes.
It was a real easy thing.
You did this on Blogspot, right?
Right. I know, right? It's been 5 years of making this site. It's 5 years of development on this site. With a really going gung-ho this past year, but it's been an extraordinarily expensive endeavor, hard. It's a lot of trials and tribulations, but yeah, it's freebooksforfree.com, and it's promos, free books. So our goal is to have every single free book that's out there on that site, and we're getting close. So we're scraping every day.
All of this is just amazing, because some of the best advice I ever got that I have not really been able to implement because it's expensive. I was looking to grow one thing. This is maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I was asking somebody in a mastermind, what's the best way to do this? And the answer they gave me was basically own the media. Like whatever it is that you're trying to sell, go out and there's a forum talking about this thing or this topic. And there's, an old lady running the forum who won't even be able to believe it if you go and say, hey, I'll give you $2,000 for the forum. And she's been looking for an exit forever. Then you get to own the forum, and you can, own the media. You own the conversation there. And you did this same thing. You basically own the media. Okay, well, the perma-free thing is dying, so I'll just own the searches on that. It's a really big idea that you had in. And the persistence to carry it out over 5 years is really, really difficult. We wanted to kill ourselves 18 months into Story Shop, and you're 5 years. So I I guess there's several questions here.
Well, first, I think we should ask what it is and how it's going to benefit our audience.
Good question. Okay, so with a huge reader base, which is the first goal, right? It's all the, I mean, there's something in it for readers. All they need to do is go click on the site, find book they want to download, click on the book, and you put it in your book bag, or you can download it right away, and then it just immediately go to download. I mean, it's that easy. Readers, but we do have we capture their email address, and then they can opt in for a newsletter or not. But either way, we have.
What's in the newsletter?
The newsletter will notify them of new free book releases. They can do daily, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, as those new free books come up. So we're
and are you tagging them by genre, same as BookBub would? Like, do they? Yeah.
Yes. So they can opt into any genre that they want, as many or as few, or no newsletter. But either way, we still have their email address. So once we have the reader base, which we plan on really growing aggressively, then the authors will see that there's a huge marketing opportunity to get their books on the site. We're going to have every free book that's out there, but if you want to have your book promoted first or on the top pages of these, or sent
right
out in the
beneath
newsletter.
Riley's.
What was that?
Right beneath Riley's book.
Of course. Well, I can't do that all the time because that's
no. I mean, if you think about it, if she builds this right, it's possible that the spots are more valuable to her as paid placement,
right,
than for her own books, even just
Right.
because the economics of it. It all depends on the scale. But if she's getting like tons of traffic right now, any traffic that would come there is incidental. But think about when people are actually having a conversation about free books for free.
for free, and they're free, by the way.
Right, then it's a whole different conversation. Then those ad spaces, could be worth exponentially more.
Yeah, and I've been, beta testing this now, and I had a really great, people give such good ideas, and one of my beta testers' idea was, once someone pays for a free spot on, they pay for a spot on this free books for free site, then you can click on their author page, and it will show. You can have spots where it will show your paid books as well. So they could buy those for like $10 or $20 cheap, where they could have all of their paid books on there. So once people find their free book on our site, they can also then find their paid books. So that was a great idea that just came about yesterday, in fact. So people will have the link to immediately go buy their paid books as well.
How much regular maintenance is there on this? Because I know you're trying to get all of the free books available here now. But once you have that, there's more free books like every day. So how much, your overhead on this, I know on the build has been kind of ridiculous, but even on an ongoing basis, how?
Yeah, luckily now, because the site, it took a lot of money and time and effort to build this, of course, but now that it's there, we've got it automated so that we can now, it's going to be pretty automated and not very expensive at this point going forward. It shouldn't be, unless, of course, there's always glitches and problems that come up, and that you've got to pay the developers to fix those. But for the most part, they've developed a program where it will just bring the free books in every day, and it's pretty automated. The newsletter, of course, is going to be more curation and stuff, and that'll take more of a team. But our goal is to get it as automated as possible, because I don't want to I want to write books. That's my first love, is writing books. But I do love business too. So.
No, you have a really nice balance, but I love that the solution here, because we've been talking about discoverability as a huge, big thing, for years now. And I love that, this solution came from our community. It came from an indie, who was trying to solve the problem for herself and maybe helped solve it for a lot of people. I think that's great. Dave, what were you going to say?
Well, what is the monetization of this? Because I know, like with BookBub, a good deal of the way they make their money is because you're clicking on an Amazon affiliate link, and that's for usually for a paid book, a book that's on sale, and that might generate some Amazon commission. I don't know how it works with free books with Amazon, because I know they had like some sort of crackdown with affiliate and free stuff along.
Yeah, we made that's a great question. We made an decision right from the beginning that we were never going to do affiliate sales with this site, because I don't want Amazon pissed off. I want them happy that we're around. So I would rather make money in other ways. And so we are not doing, even if we have paid books on the site, we're not going to do any affiliate sales. The monetization is going to come from authors wanting their books featured and getting those, because if you have a free book that's on the front page and you have, let's say, 500,000 readers or whatever the mailing list is going to be, or because every single person that comes in, we're going to capture their email address. So whatever that is, if you're on the front page and people buy that free book, as we know with BookBub, then immediately, if they like your book, they're going to buy the paid sequel. So the free books are really for authors to drive readers to their sequels and to their other books as well.
You basically organized everybody's funnel starters in one place. So you're going to have a lot of accidental inventory because there's no curation on actually scraping from A to your place, right? It's just everything's going over there wholesale. But then what is the search and merchandising like beyond that? Like, how is the site organized? So I know Yesterday's Gone is up there right now, but that's because it was physically put there, right?
Yes.
So how does that normally work on the inventory? How much is merchandise versus search, and how easy is it to find? For example, are Amazon's rankings relevant to the site's rankings?
Absolutely. So we don't want shit books up there. I mean, there are going to be shit books in the site because volume is key, but they're not going to be front and center. So we've got it so that the rankings goes by the most popular books, just like Amazon. I mean, the most popular the most downloaded books, or the ones with the higher star rating are those books are shown first on Amazon. And so we've just done that automatically so that the good books or the most popular books are in there. And also it's a constantly revolving door because what's popular today or what's being downloaded today won't be tomorrow. So we want constant new books, right? So we do the ranking that way, and the site is organized by the featured books. Those are the first 4 books on the site that you see are paid for by authors. And then we've got the others, we've got the most popular books in romance, the most popular books in sci-fi, mystery, so on, etc. Those books are just put in there by the popularity or the ranking, but authors will have the opportunity to have their books on the first level of those as well if they pay for a spot. So
now,
there will be curation there as well, just like BookBub.
Now, are you doing email blasts like BookBub, or is it strictly on your website that people would go to?
We'll be having the newsletter that they can opt in. So it's basically a giant free book library that they can peruse. But if they want to opt into the newsletter, then they can have in their inbox daily, weekly, biweekly, or monthly, they can have the notifications of the new free books in the genres that they're interested in. And I had another great beta idea was, I don't know how we're going to implement this, but we're going to try. Someone said they would love to have a wish list for books that are, paid books that might someday be free. And somehow, you know what I mean? Like they're notified. They're notified. Like if Lord of the Rings becomes free for a short while, But we don't have any Kindle Unlimited books on there because we don't want to deal with they come on free, they're off free. We don't want to deal with that. Plus, I don't want people to think it's a scam trying to get people into the Kindle Unlimited program. So these are only perma-free books.
So
I love that it's only perma-free book. It makes it a much clearer offer.
Yeah.
So what's the advantage to your website for authors? Like why would somebody pay to be on the website? Because right now with BookBub, if you pay for a BookBub ad, your book's going to go skyrocket in the rankings because of the power of their email list. What kind of power will this website have if it's kind of based on Amazon algorithms at the moment?
Well, if we have the reader base, then that will drive the people to Amazon to download that book, which will then they'll see the same sort of benefit that they do with BookBub. I mean, we'll have it twofold. It's not just their book being featured front and center when people click onto the site, but it'll also be the newsletter blast. So the key is to build the readership, which I believe really we will, because I think it's a site that people are going to, everyone that I've beta tested with this are excited. They've already downloaded books. They're already reading the free books. It's very easy, and they can find what they're looking for without having to, they can actually find stuff they wouldn't normally be able to find on Amazon because it's all hidden on Amazon.
Okay. And Riley did send us a link to the website when it was in beta, and we gave her some advice on making it more author friendly. And they ran with the advice, and I think it is something that a lot of people can benefit from. Oh,
your advice, I'm telling you right now, was the best advice we got. I mean, the developer, yeah, of course. It really was. The developers' minds were blown. They said, wow, this is great stuff. So you made the site so much better.
I need to hire out my services of finding problems with things, and I'll be rolling in the money.
Right. I'm telling you. Well,
What's wrong with this?
Yeah, it's almost like what's there right now is almost it's just well past MVP. Like this could have come out a while ago and been iterated into this. I think Riley's worked really, really hard to make this as polished as possible.
Well, thank you guys for all of your, because you guys back at Stone Table, it was, you guys saw the first version. It was still very rudimentary. I mean, it wasn't very far along, even despite all the work we'd put into it.
Yeah, it's come a long way.
Yeah. And so all of the advice that everyone gave there, that Stone Table, and all of your like very fine-tuned advice and eyes for this, where it helped, because, you know, when you're this close to a project, it's hard to know, you forget, you know, what's needed. So
what are some of the challenges in creating a website that sort of becomes the go-to for readers and for authors?
Oh, we've had so many issues. I mean, I'll give you one. So it's just, I mean, just working with, well, when you develop a website, working with programmers is really hard when you're a creative type like I am, to communicate what's needed, what you want, your vision for, to translate that to the developer's mindset, which is of making this, what can be done, what can't be done in the context of developing a website, you know, because they know all the coding and everything. So I'll say, I want this to happen. They're like, well, this is what it'll take, or this is, you know, or of course, how much money it'll cost, or this is almost impossible to do. So working with the developers that's a huge challenge. Not because, I mean, they're great guys. I mean, the guys I worked with are awesome, but it's just to communicating the needs versus what's capable in that field, right? So that's one. And so, for example, we had a 6 months of scraping, getting data, because I wanted the free books in there, and volume was key. And after that, we found out that we had brought in nothing but Kindle Unlimited books. And we had tested the first few batches, and it looked like they were perma-free. And all of a sudden, we have 6 months worth of Kindle Unlimited books, which I mean, it was so, it's awful, because if someone's to go onto that site and see a Kindle Unlimited book, they're going to think it's a complete scam. It's Amazon trying to get, you know, you to buy into that. You have to pay $9.99 to be a part of this program. And it's not really free, right? It's because you have to pay for the Kindle Unlimited program. So it was devastating. So we had to start over, and that was more money. I mean, we had to start all over again. We had to, the Indians that, the guys, there was a communication problem there, and they misunderstood. And so they brought in all the wrong data. So that was hard. I mean, you know, that's like, you know, set you back.
How many times did you want to, or did you just feel like giving up? Like, okay, I'm obviously, this isn't going where I want to, and I'm bleeding money on this, because your perseverance through this is very impressive.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it took a toll on a lot of areas of my life, I must say. But you know, I wanted to give up all the time, but I kept coming back to this is needed, right? People need this. I mean, the thing that I love BookBub, but the thing that frustrated me about BookBub is I don't want people selecting the books for me. I want to go in and peruse myself and figure out what I want. And it's fine if I get the newsletter that tells me, hey, there's some new things you might be interested in. But I was frustrated not being able to go in there and find out, just look myself and find the different books on my own. I love doing that on Amazon. And I thought, God, why can't I do that with free books? You know, and I couldn't find any site that did that.
Well, and that's one of the things that I think is so great about this idea, and it really did impress me like right away, was because you explain this idea, and it would be easy to argue, well, that's not special. Of course, there's sites that do that. Of course, there's a site that has rounded up all of the free books in one place, but there isn't. And the moment you hear that idea, well, of course, all the free books are in one place. They're free books for free, right? And it just feels really obvious. It feels like a really natural thing. And those are the kinds of ideas that blow up. The ideas where, well, of course that already exists, because, and it's parallel too. I love this because it solves a big reader problem and it solves a writer problem. So as writers, we've been saying for a while, what do we do with perma-free? Like now we have to do price pulsing or whatever it is, because that's perma-free seems to just be dead. But with this, it solves it for the writers. Well, here's a marketplace essentially for all of our funnel starters. And for readers, man, it's really hard to find what I want at Amazon because they're suppressing the free results. So now I can go to free books for free and check it out. And I think that's cool. You solved a problem on two fronts. It will be really interesting to watch how you can build the list, because I think that, I mean, Dave, I think was alluding to this earlier, you know, with what is the ultimate strategy here, because web traffic is just, it can be so empty. So even if you have those 5 million searches and that, ends up being like 500,000 visitors, there's still so little control there. Once you filter them into the list, then it becomes really powerful.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
gotten much? I know it hasn't really been live for a while, but have you gotten a feel for how well this is going to work and next steps and that sort of thing?
I haven't gotten a feel yet because I know we wanted to have it live for a month out, but of course, when you're developing a product like this, there's always something that happens and it prevents that. But the spiders aren't working yet. That's the last I heard from the developers, meaning that Google doesn't know we're here yet. So they're working on I guess it's called the analytics. I'm not even sure of the term because that's not my field, but they're working on something.
You're in the sandbox right now.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. So they're going to try to get us seen by Google. And once that happens, I think we're going to start getting a lot of traffic, but I'm really going to market to, other authors who have huge mailing lists of readers who want free books, and so have other, authors, the community at large do that. And also I the one thing I don't like about some of these other book sites is that they really kind of shut out the new authors who are usually the most hungry. And they do this by saying, you have to have this many stars and you have to be curated. Your book has to have this many reviews and all these things. And of course, we don't want bad books featured, but we also want to give new authors a chance. And so that's why I have a special spot on the site where it's going to be for new and undiscovered authors, because I really want new authors to feel like they've got a chance too, because it's really hard. How do you get traction when everyone's shutting you out? That's one of the hardest parts about being a new author. So I want new authors to feel like this is a place they can come to. And so I think a lot of readers are also aspiring authors, and I think a lot of new authors are also have some, they want to grow their fan base, and I think they'll be my biggest champions eventually.
So how do you, without investing a lot of time for curation, how do you both embrace new authors and keep out the bad books?
Oh, great question.
Yeah, I was.
Well, maybe you guys can help me with that, because I want to, because that's something I've been mulling over too, because I really, really do want new authors to feel safe there. I do. But, I also don't, yeah.
Well, you have a numbers problem. There's a lot of new authors. Like, there's always going to be people who are like, well, I didn't get featured, and because there's bazillions of them.
I'm willing to look at everybody's book cover and decide whether the book is good or not for you.
Well, what if I did this? What do you guys think of this? What if we had, it's like a sort of a no judgment zone. If a new author wants to pay to be featured, we'll do that. But we have a little disclaimer that says these are new and undiscovered. Don't judge a book always by its cover.
I wouldn't apologize for it.
Okay.
So new and undiscovered is great. That already says they haven't been vetted. If you add any more to that, you're like, but just so you know,
this might suck.
Right. Oh,
so
okay.
Don't click.
All right. This is why I love Seth. So Seth is in the chat and he says rising stars.
Ooh.
Right? Like that works too. You want to make it into a positive, but the risk is on them as the reader.
Yes. Yes, because there are people who can discover lots of good authors that have bad books. I mean, one of my first books, which was it's been my favorite, actually my reader's favorite book so far, actually had the worst cover in the history of time. So you can.
I think they would argue with that.
In the history of time.
I think he has some contenders.
I could show you that book cover. It's unfortunately still on Goodreads. I can't get it taken down. But I actually showed that book cover at I spoke at the RWA conference in 2015 on a panel, and I did a spot on book covers, and I actually showed that book cover along with the new one.
Was the person in the audience and they started crying?
The whole audience started laughing, and I said, well, that's not the response you want for a serious mystery. People
I'm
laughing.
dying to see this cover.
Wait, was it one of your books or another author?
My book.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and it's something that I designed. I'll have to send you the link.
We have a question in chat from Kate Morgan. Is there a feature to funnel folks from a perma-free first in series to the rest of the paid books, or to leave reviews?
The reviews, of course, are just going to be, those are on Amazon. But so the free book that's featured on our site, you click on that, you can download it. But there's a space below that, once you click and download it, that will say other books by the author. And so that's where the authors will have the opportunity. Originally, I was just going to put everybody's other, everybody's books there. But this marketing and businesswoman gave me advice and said, just charge for those. So, have it upmarket sell. So have make it cheap so everyone can afford it, $10 or whatever per book. So just have a space there so people can find your other paid books as an author. So they can, yes.
Okay. So there's a takeaway here for people who are listening, is that's on you. Basically, you want to have your funnels in place. So if you're going to take advantage of a marketplace like this, you need to make sure that once they get into, because they're actually downloading the book from Amazon. So once they download that book, make sure that your CTAs are in place, your front matter, your back matter, whatever it is that you're leading readers from A to B, make sure that that's in place, because something like this isn't handling that for you. What they're doing is creating a marketplace so anybody looking for a free book can get it, but you want to have that marketing lined up.
And we've all known free new authors who will put a free book out there with nothing else to sell.
Right.
What's
right.
the point of that? Right.
No, nothing at all. And so there are two things here. I mean, I think a really good takeaway is not that you should go out and build yourself a site that tries to take on BookBub. That is so not the message here. But the message is, think about other ways to get discovered. Take advantage of situations where there are people out there building marketplaces or tools to help us. So take advantage of that when you see it, and make sure that you are putting all of your pieces in place so that you can fully capitalize on that opportunity. But also just think laterally. Think about where can I think outside the box? Where is the normal thought that people have? Because this is a really lateral thought.
And this is both the central point, I think, of this whole discussion, and really hard to articulate as a lesson. Like, it just by definition requires abstract thought. There's a thing where Sean and I are looking at like discoverability, right? Like, we have to talk about discoverability and stuff. And it's like, well, so how do you find other, I hate to keep using the cliche now that Sean's pointed it out, but how do you find other outside the box ways to promote yourself? I mean, we're doing a bunch of them. We have this podcast. We're speaking at events. We have Story Shop. These are all kind of lateral branches to our business to, like, I don't know, build your name and who knows you and stuff. So it's really hard to talk about, but it's really important, because just publishing books is only one way to do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what obviously what you need as an author. What do you need and you're not getting to get your book seen? And maybe think of creating something from there, however small or big it might be.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of us shut our brains off in that way, and we think, well, I'm a writer, or whatever. And a lot of us haven't even been doing this that long, but we're really allegiant to, this is the path that I have. But you should open your mind to other things that you see, other things that you hear, and create opportunities. What am I thinking of? A book funnel is a really good example. Like, a need was seen, right? And someone within the community created that need because they saw what everybody else around them, could benefit from. And that's become a staple for a lot of people. Book funnel is just something that is necessary for their launches and the maintenance of their lists and their audience and all that.
And this is Riley isn't creating a competitor to BookBub. She's creating something that it fills a different sort of need.
Yeah, it totally does.
That wasn't there before. And I think that's important to understand. Is there anything that you've learned so far in the time that the website has been up regarding how people are marketing their books? You don't have a line of sight as far as like what books like sell after the fact or anything like that, correct?
Don't have any of that data yet. We're looking, that's going to be after I come back from your conference. That's going to be something I'm going to go full on marketing, and we'll have a better idea. But it's for me, it feels like the feedback I've been getting from everybody that I've been sending it to is really good. People are very excited, and they're downloading books of their own accord. I mean, the one person, she's only a paper book reader. She doesn't read electronics, but she went and bought a Kindle because she got so excited about all these free books. That told me something. You know what I mean?
Because they're free books for free.
Yeah. Yes. And there's a lot of them. We're going to have, I mean, we don't even have all the books that are on there yet. I mean, we are going to have every single book. My goal is to get every free book in the world on that site. So if it's out there,
what about that actually? So is it different for like US books versus UK Amazon, or, you know?
well, so we did have on the site, we did have a foreign free book section that we actually took down temporarily because there are so many free foreign books flooding the site. So we hid that for now, but we're going to have a branch of this. It's going to be foreign books, and our eventual goal is to have the free books for free. You know, a German site, Australian. I mean, not Australian. Silly me. Other languages, and so we don't know yet if we're going to do like just a branch of that or a page or what people can click on it or what. But we're definitely going to have foreign book aspects where you can collect. You know, where you can collect them into languages.
Now, one question I have is, you're going specifically after the free market, whereas
I was going to ask this.
BookBub, you know, they have like the discounted market. So, I mean, we've noticed over the years, like when you just go after the free seekers, they're not always people that will buy the other books. How do you get over that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just hoping that the people with that love a certain author, like you guys, for example, your fan base is huge and they love you and they'll buy everything that you put out. Well, I'm hoping that those readers are going to be the ones who, the minute they know that your free book is up there, they run to get it and then they buy your other stuff,
I think there's sideways work to do here also. It's like nudging the movement, nudging the algorithm. So if people are just downloading, like, because you're right, Dave, I think somebody who actually looks up for free books and actually uses the search term free books for free is so
I want them really free.
Right. Like, that's not a person.
They're very opposed to spending money.
Right.
Last free books I got cost money.
Right. No, it's true. Like, that term is from a suspicious mind. That is somebody who does not want to look for something free and accidentally.
Dave Googles for suspicious people who are suspicious.
Well, if you can convert those readers, those suspicious ones, to buying your book, then you're golden. So hopefully.
Right. But I think that, yes, some of them, if they really, really like, will convert. But I think, to Dave's point, a lot of them won't. But that's okay if it's still nudging your book for visibility, because those downloads do count. Right. So it helps you, like, especially if you, like, let's say, it's a place for anybody to find you. And when you're really at the beginning of this and you're looking for discoverability, then something like this is going to help. If you're at, like, I see this as a benefit at different stages. If you're at the stage where you're doing pretty well, and maybe you can pay for one of those ad spots, and then a lot of people see your book, then you're actually not paying for those people to get in your funnel so much as you're paying for those people to, kick the ball a little bit on the algorithm.
Yes. Yeah.
So I want to talk about networking, but before we do that, I think that Tammy is going to light a fire.
Oh my God, she
somebody doesn't answer this question. She's asked it in Slack.
What is the shopping cart?
Yeah. So with the book bag, can you explain what the book bag does? Like, what the idea there is?
Yes. Okay. So on the site, if you click on a book that you want to download, you can click download, or you can click book bag. So the download will take it and put it right immediately to your Kindle, right? Or your device. Book bag, you can store them up. Like, let's say you go to Nordstrom and you want to buy a bunch of different shoes and you want to go back and see which ones you want to get rid of, which ones you do want to download or don't want to download. So the book bag allows you to store them up, and then you can either individually download them or do it all at once. We're still working on the feature to be able to get them all to go at once. Right now, you have to click individually to download each one. But eventually, the book bag is going to be something that they can download them all at once.
And when you say it delivers it to their device, how is that working? Is that a book funnel like process, or are they actually going to Amazon when they click Amazon?
Yes, they're going to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or whatever, whichever vendor that they want to have their books sent to them.
Also for the book bag, including for the book bag, that's
Yes.
something where they're clicked it directly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're still working on some of the bugs on that, but for the most part, it's Amazon only. I mean, it's the biggest part of it, but we're trying to get all the other ones up to speed as well.
What other vendors are you working with?
We're going to Barnes & Noble, Kobo, iTunes, Google. I think that's it. Yeah, all of them. Yeah. Yep. So every vendor that has a free book.
So what would you have done differently through this whole project if you could?
You know what I would have done differently? It sometimes keeps me awake at night. I would have gone for it and spent, instead of trying to trickle out and what I could afford little by little, and it took 5 years, I would have pretty much done what I could have, taken credit cards, whatever I could. I would have done it much earlier. I would have gone balls to the wall on this, and I would have gotten it out before there were all these book sites out there. I would have gone and done it before this, the free books for free search term. Google has changed a lot of the discoverability just by the name. Back then in 2012 when I bought this, I was told by the developers that search term would have put me at the front of the page just back then alone. And I
was that pre-Panda 2012?
It used to be that if it was in the URL, that was almost a guarantee.
Yeah. Yeah, but Panda really rocked that to nothing.
Yeah. If I had known that aspect of it, I would have just gone for it. And instead I kind of was scared. Fear really can limit you, you don't want to be reckless and mortgage your home and be living on the streets for something like this, but
but it really protracted your development, and that means you're paying developers, and that made it more expensive.
Yes. And it's also, now it's going to be harder to get the site launched because there's more strikes against me, because the market is glutted with this free books. Back then, to find a free book, the free book sites were just starting. So I wish I'd just gone for it, and without, of course, without jeopardizing my children's future or anything financially, but to the best of my ability, I would have probably maxed out credit cards. I probably would have gone to family and taken loans. I probably would have worked 2 jobs. I should have done more to get this done earlier. Time is of the essence sometimes when you have an idea like this.
So let's talk about networking a little bit, which is something I brought up before raising the book bag question. So, you came to the Stone Table, you talked to us about this, you know the developers that you're working with. So, let's just talk about the value of in discoverability and in new ventures of getting out there and talking to people and having friends that you can call and ask for, site reviews and shit like that.
Yeah. I'm doing a weekly podcast right now, and I'm meeting these great authors they're wonderful people and have huge mailing lists who've offered to help promo the site. I'm in turn promoting their books. Those kinds of networking opportunities are invaluable. Friendships. It starts with friendships. It starts with just, talking about common interest and getting to know these people that are also on the same path as you, and helping each other. And in this industry that we're in, helping each other, like you guys are the prime example of this, helping each other, it actually will benefits you the most, because people will remember that you're a good person, that you've helped them, even if there's nothing in it for you in the beginning. Obviously, if you go out and you help somebody, and they'll remember that, and then later they will return the favor. And it's a great way to, and some of these authors that I know that just in my networking they have mailing lists of 50,000 people. They have huge mailing lists of readers that they're going to blast this to.
How do you feel about randomly helping people, Dave?
He helped me with the site. He did.
Do you think that that's good practice, randomly helping people?
Never do anything nice for anybody or I'll bite you in the ass. I have that tattooed somewhere on my body.
Do you want me to bite you in the ass, Dave? Is that what you're saying? Is that why you helped me?
Yes.
Well, this got saucy.
Wow. Saucy.
So how do you get other authors on board? Do you have like badges or something that they could share on their website, like my book is here? Or
What if they said badgers?
Badgers.
Very
Yes.
You don't need no stinking badgers.
I don't yet. That's a good tip. See, you're helping once again.
I have to stop. I really want you to bite me.
So yeah, a badge is a great idea. Any other tips? I'm just going to try to get it out. The best I can. I just was going to give people direct links to find it. But I'm going to have for this conference that I'm going to, the conference that you guys are putting on, I'm going to have a little mailer to put in everyone's bag, and they get a chance to win a spot by signing up. Free spot. So yeah, I'm just gonna. But I like the idea of a badge. Any other ideas? Let me know. Bring them.
Did you say you're doing a weekly podcast?
Yes.
Is it for the free book site?
No, this is my co-host and I, Victoria Dan, and it's called Romance Between the Pages, and it's a podcast just to promote indie romance authors. And so we just talk to them, ask them questions about their lives and their books and their careers, and it's fun. And I'm meeting a lot of great people this way. But I am going to be promoting free books for free on that site though. So, and I'm going to do it every single podcast too.
I think
was thinking of like on the site, something I'd like to see, and I don't know what sort of a time sink this is, but like interviewing other authors. I don't know if you would want to do a podcast or maybe just something on the page, but interviewing authors, especially authors that have some success, or they have books that are like similar to, somebody else is doing really well. Just sort of like allowing viewers to the site, like to get to know an author and what else they do, other than it's just this place for free books. It's sort of like opening a doorway to getting to know. I think when you know an author more, they're not just a free book. They're
no, I was so not with you, Dave, until the very end. And now you totally owned it.
Of course.
So do you mean, Dave, do you mean like having each author has their own author page on the site that people can go and kind of interact?
I do. Well, I don't know about the interaction on the page. I do think every author should have some sort of page, but I'm also talking like something that is like featured maybe in a sidebar, like this month's featured author, or maybe even in different genres.
I think what it should be, like, it's right up there in the right-hand corner. I think that's great. And just call it like author spotlight.
Like an interview sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
it basically the messaging on that, Dave, this is really smart because he's right. There is this huge barrier with getting people from free to paid. But a way to handle that is to humanize it. So if you had a story, and I think the reason I was unplugging from Dave right away is because it's a recurring thing. Like, oh man, you're gonna do author interviews now? It's a terrible idea. But as
sounds like my complaint.
Right.
As a recurring thing, fuck that.
Yeah, but it's a once a month, content marketing piece for the site. That's actually a conversion element. I think that's great because if authors are getting not just traffic here, but they're getting conversion here, then the value of those ad spots goes way up. And a way to do that is having a story that focuses not just on the author's work, but on the publishing model, the freemium model, basically, that allows people who to get books for free and then really love that book and experience more of the author's paid work. So you're basically selling that adventure.
So do you think?
And I think this could be really big with romance authors specifically, especially if especially if it's like somebody popular and they're talking about like other work that they enjoy. I think people will bond over that and they're like, oh, I really like this person. I'm going to check out their other stuff.
Do you guys think that it would be more effective to have like I write up a Q&A for the author to answer before I put that, or actually just have them write their own little bio or to put up there?
I would give them guidance. I would want a bio and I'd want some guidance. You should write some standard Q&As that you give people, but also I think you want to personalize if you want to do it right.
Yeah, I think you want, maybe even it's, Riley, you're great on the phone. Like, give them 15 minutes on the phone, and I bet you have all you need to write like something. Or you could actually what I would do, Riley, because I think your time is valuable. I would get on the phone, talk to a person for 15 minutes, and then hire a writer to write like a little profile piece based on your recording.
Ooh, yeah.
And then put that up, and really like focus on the journey. You should have, Dave's right, it needs to be personalized, but you could have a template that's basically how the author started, how the freemium model has changed the way that they're able to make a living and create their art, and like a big thank you to the fans who make that happen. And just everyone will give you unique ingredients to kind of craft that story. But here's your model, Behind the Music. Did you remember Behind the Music?
Yeah,
that shit was awesome. You could watch 40 of them in a row. They were all exactly the same, but they were so good. That's it. This is Behind the Music, but for the free model here.
Brilliant idea, Dave. Telling you. Yep. I love that.
We're like Shark Tank now.
Spotlight. What?
We're like Shark Tank now.
So everybody,
you guys, that's great. Yeah.
Everybody watch. All you authors watch free books for free for this sort of thing. Maybe you could be the spotlight author. So freebooksforfree.com. Anything else you want people to know about, Riley?
Hey, send me an email at it's rjf@rileyjford.com and talk to me. If you want to be a beta tester, if you want to, I can offer you a spot later on the site. If you want to beta test this for me and give me your feedback, that would be wonderful.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for joining us on the Self-Publishing Podcast. And thank you all for listening, and we'll see y'all next time.
Adios.
Thanks all of you guys.
Thank you.